So you all know the significance of this particular week's celebrations, right? Yeah, it's going to be on moon. Yeah, 20th moon landing. Actually, it's 21st for us. Because when you convert the time from our US time to Indian time, it will be 21st. And most of the schools in Kerala, they celebrate on 21st. Okay, let's wait for the slide. Oh, yes. Very good. So, my talk will be on quest for the moon. Why we went there, what is there for it, what's there for us. So the first human landing took place on 20th July. I am putting the US date, not Indian date, 1969. Okay, it was announced as the International Moon Day by the UN General Assembly. So we'll just see the moon, it plays a very, very crucial role. It played and it plays very crucial role almost every civilization, right? Right from you take the Mayan civilization, Greek civilization, Egypt or India or China, they had their own mythologies. Some thought the moon is made out of purely cheese. Some thought there are human beings there. Some thought there is one grandma making vadas in the moon. There are such stories are there on the moon. And every civilization, they had their own god or goddess. So for example, Greek, they had Selene. So the study of moon is called selenology. Like geology for the earth, it's selenology for moon. Similarly, selenography for the moon, like geography. Okay. Once again, the Roman goddess is called Luna. You might have heard the word, he has become lunatic. That comes from this particular god. There is one another Greek goddess by name Artemis. Even Diana also is the name of a Roman goddess for moon. Of course, India is not lagging behind. We have our own god called Chandra. And there is a temple for the Chandra god, do you know? So the place called Tingalur. Tingal in Tamil means it is moon. So naturally, there's a god's, the place is called Tingalur. China has got its own god called Chang'e, and there is one Yutu rabbit, which they thought is living there. Okay, and they named their space probe for moon as Chang'e, and the rover in the name of Yutu1, Yutu2. So, right from Shelley to BTS. How many of you are BTS fans here? Yeah, BTS, there is a song called Moonlight, right? And even Shakespeare has not left behind. He has told, she comes more nearer earth than she won't and makes men mad. Then just link this to the word lunatic. And there is one Malayalam song, I don't know how many of you have heard it. Ambali Mamane Vitil Namada Amma Marchilar Poivanu, Anjar Kallugalatre Namakai, Sanjil Maman Kodutaichu. Those who have studied in Malayalam medium would have studied this particular song. Okay. Not only that, and many other ways it's affecting us. And some people, they thought, some people, they transform into a werewolf, head of a wolf and body of a man. Such mythology also were there. And of course, moon plays a very big role on calendar making. Most of our calendars are made on moon only. People used to ask, what is your null? Null is nothing but the place in which moon is residing, but in front of which particular star moon is there. It's called the null. And every religion is linked to the moon. For example, all Muslims, they, after looking at the first crescent only, they celebrate their festivals. Easter dates are linked to moon. May not be knowing it, right? Hindu festivals and rituals all are based on moon only. Beli Udukanad, that's what they call. Okay. And once again, Easter, I was telling you, it's nothing but the first Sunday after the full moon day, which is coming after March 21st. March 21st is vernal equinox. Immediately after that. So naturally, all these dates can be, all these dates can be listed down. Up to 2030 I have given here. They are all simply astronomical calculations and nothing more. Okay, now let's come to the moon. Moon, when you compare to Earth, it's something like this. Only 1/4 of the size of the moon diameter. Mass is only 1/81th of the Earth's mass. Once again, gravity also is 1/6. Correspondingly, everything comes out, and it is 384,000 kilometers away. It's almost comparable. It has got mountains, plateaus, plains. Of course, they call what they call Maria. It's seas, but water is not there. Okay, and once again, atmosphere also is not there. That's how it compares, and these are the numbers. I'm not just getting into the numbers, and you can see surface gravity. I told you 1/6 of our Earth's gravity, and correspondingly, its escape velocity. Students in 10, 11, 12 can appreciate its escape velocity is 2.38 kilometers only. For example, suppose if you want to send a spacecraft out of Earth's atmosphere, you need to launch it at 11.2 kilometers per second. Just think, going to city is in a second. Whereas for moon, you require only this much low velocity to escape out of its gravity. That's how it goes. Once again, temperature wise, if you see, when it is facing the sun, it will be whooping 120 degrees centigrade. When it is not facing the sun, it will be minus 180 degrees centigrade. So for some permanently shadowed regions, especially in the North Pole and South Pole of moon, it will be as low as minus 240 degrees centigrade. Okay, that's how it compares. And once again, you all know, moon is not looking the same every day. It changes its shape. Some days it's not seen. Some days it slowly it grows like this, literally in 29.5 days. What is the significance of this 29.5 days? It goes like this, okay? Looking from the sun, so from Earth, it looks as if it gains the same shape. Assume there is a black circle here, and the end also there is going to be a black circle. Okay, this is because of its position with respect to the sun. Looking from Earth, what is the angle of sun at which it is shining on moon? That depends, that decides the shape of the moon, which we are going to have to see, and it changes once in 29.5 days, and this is called one lunar month. It goes like this only. Okay, your school kids, I think I'll skip this. And this is the visible and far side of the moon. We always look at only one side only we can see. The other side we cannot see because it's tidally locked in a particular fashion. So you cannot see it. Once again, its real orbital period is only 3 days only. Okay, after 27.3 days, it will come to the same location. Aswati Nakshatram, if it starts, next Aswati Nakshatram will be on the 28th day. That's what it shows, 27.3 days. But looking at the same face, are we just seeing only same size exactly? That means 50% of the area only are we looking at? Literally no, we can see slightly beyond, maybe around 58, 59%. Why? Because suppose if I am standing like this, you can see only this side. Suppose I am talking, I am doing this way and this way, what you can see? You can see slightly more of this side and more of this side. Similar thing happens for the moon also, just to see. It's literally doing a small dancing, can you see? It's slightly turning like this. So same way, this particular phenomena is called the libration of the moon, okay? So is the moon affecting us? Yes. Definitely in many, many ways which we do not know at all. Okay, just for first thing is, it made the condition of our planet Earth stable. Meaning that Earth can evolve into living beings in the planet Earth. That is the only thing where it's simply by way of stabilizing the planet Earth, it is giving control over extreme temperature formations. Once again, tidal effects. Tidal effects you may be knowing. Those who are in the seashore area, sea water comes in during new moon day and full moon day. So this type of thing, because of this tidal friction, the planet Earth's speed also would have reduced. Once upon a time, our planet Earth revolved itself by between 2 to 5 hours, so fast. But now it's only 24-hour period. That is because of our moon. Once again, I already told you the marine life brought into the moon, we need not bother. And then moon surface. There are some surface features, what is known as highlands or raised plains. Then you have Maria, I already told you. Maria means Mare means sea. They thought water will be there, but actually only basaltic lava is there, which gives the distinct black color over that particular area. And once again, there are a lot of craters on the moon. And some of the Maria, actually, they had different names you can see. Mare Crisium, Mare Tranquillitis, like that, all things related to feelings of the mind. Mare Ingenuity, that means genuineness. So like that, different things are there on the moon. And once again, different craters, of course, are also there on this. In fact, one of the craters is named after the founder of Indian space program, Vikram Sarabhai. I'll be showing at the end. There is one particular crater by name Daedalus. Daedalus, because I don't have time to get into the stories of different characters. Daedalus is a story. And then there is the proposal to change this particular crater into a big radio telescope. Okay. And then the largest crater on the moon is the South Pole Aitken basin, which is on the far side, which we cannot see. I already told you, almost all the known features are put here. Okay, you can see the numbers here. I told you, the Mare Fecundatis, Mare nectaris, Mare chrysium, Mare tranquillitatis, Mare serenitatis, like that. And all seas are named after different feelings of the mind. There is one Mare humorum also. And this is going to be the structure of the moon. It has got a small fluid outer core, that's what scientists claim. And then it has got a solid core, inner core, which is only 160 kilometer in radius. Of course, there are shallow moonquakes. Now all our space program or our moon program, they are trying to identify this type of moonquakes if they are there. And once again, the American native culture, it has given a lot of names for different moons. Probably this month, June month is called March is Pascal moon, and it goes. And there is another thing, once in a blue moon. How many of you know that what's a blue moon is? Whether a moon will be blue? Why? Then what is a blue moon? Don't look at that. No. If a full moon occurs the second time in a particular month, the second full moon day of a month is known as the blue moon. That's why the once in a it occurs very, very rarely. That's why it's called a blue moon. And then there is a super moon. Have you know? Do you know? Yesterday it was a super moon. Yesterday was a super moon. It also is very, very rare. And why? What happens when the full moon day occurs in the point called perigee? You all have studied about Kepler's laws of planetary motion, right? Every planet goes around its star or center body around in elliptical orbits. One will be, the closest point is called perigee or perihelion or periastron. Farthest point is apogee, apohelion or apoastron. If for any object, it's called apoastron. For our planet Earth, it's called apogee, perigee. For Sun, it is called apohelion, perihelion. And recently there was one fake news in coming around. Have you studied? No. Do you know about it? Called apohelion effect. Okay, we'll discuss later during the question session. Okay, this is how a super moon happens, and this is the difference how it is going to be. The apogee moon, perigee moon, and regular full moon. It will be 14% closer and 14% larger and 30% brighter. Those who sit in the last row can appreciate the difference of the sizes. Okay. Once again, the main point is our moon is bigger than the rest of the moons compared to the planets. That is one reason why on planet Earth we have the total solar eclipse. And no other planet can have a total solar eclipse in the entire solar system. And it so happens that our moon is 400 times smaller than our sun, and it is 400 times closer than our sun. So this 400 matching gives rise to a typical solar eclipse for planet Earth alone, and nowhere in the entire solar system can have a total solar eclipse. And once again you have got lunar eclipse also. Okay, you know what happens, literally moon enters into the shadow of planet Earth. Then you get a lunar eclipse. Once again it can be different types of lunar eclipse. One is total lunar eclipse. The shadow you can see, there are two shadows there. One is a pitch dark shadow called the umbra, and the other one is called penumbra. Okay, whenever the moon's eclipse occurs in the penumbra, it's called a partial lunar eclipse or a penumbral lunar eclipse. Otherwise it's a total lunar eclipse. And once again, why we are not getting a solar eclipse or lunar eclipse every month? Because it is coming there, it is crossing every month. We are not getting it. The main reason is our moon's orbit is tilted to the path of the sun by 5 degrees, approximately 5.1, like that. Okay, 5 degrees. So naturally, because of this particular thing, either the moon will be either this full moon day or new moon day when it happens, other than these two square boxes, naturally you won't get a eclipse. Only when it happens, these two places are called ascending node and descending node. That means its orbit will be going up like this or going down like this. If it is going down, it's called a descending node. It happens in the top. The one which is going up called ascending node. If full moon day or new moon day happens to be at these two locations, you get an eclipse. Otherwise, you won't get an eclipse at all. Okay. So once again, there is some mystery in the formation of the moon. Okay. There are two theories. One is before the Apollo program and the other is after the Apollo program. Before the Apollo program, what they had is either the moon was captured for a body from some other, maybe some asteroid or something, or due to the fission of two objects, or due to the co-formation along with the Earth, it also has formed like this. So the scientists were thinking like that. But after the Apollo missions, when they examined the rocks obtained from the moon, then the important thing which emerged is called the giant impact theory, where the same thing only, whatever I have told you, capture hypothesis, fission and co-formation. But after this, what happened? The giant impact theory, there is one big object called Theia. This Theia literally collided with planet Earth and ejected some amount of material. You can see there how it, after this collision, you can see some amount is ejected out. It goes around and then the moon is formed. This is how scientists are now theorizing. Once again, hypothesis only, we are yet to prove them. Okay, it's a theory. So once again, the same thing. Whatever I told you, immediately a lot of lunar magma, they were trying to solidify, and some of the reasons they solidified into certain regions called Mare. I already told you, and this is how our moon came into existence like this. This is the route at which it has come. And once again, after the formation of solar system, it took around 95 plus or minus 32 million years for the formation of moon. And once again, when it was formed, it used to be very close to us. Okay, it was 12 times closer to planet Earth. And then the sky, if you see, it will be this big, whereas now it is only this small. Okay, and naturally, slowly it is getting away from us. And how do we find this? This is one of the proof for Apollo mission. Okay, 3.8 centimeter per year, our moon is literally getting away from us. So once again, you all know our space era started on October 4, 1957, when whole ISRO or the whole world celebrates as World Space Week. Okay, it started with this only, and once again, subsequently, the space race between the US and the USSR it started. Then Yuri Gagarin went. Then John Glenn, he was the first American. He also orbited around there. And once again, Russia started sending a lot of probes into the moon. Russia was the first, in fact, the leader. So they first sent one Luna 1 man-made object. It escapes. It just it was a flyby mission. Flyby means it just crossed the moon over this like this. And subsequently, the second one, it went and hit the moon. Luna 2 was the first one. And the Luna 3, I literally orbited. It went to the backside of the moon and took some interesting photograph. You can see that particular photograph. This was the first photograph, very, very with noisy photograph. But this was the first photograph of the far side of the moon. Once again, it continued to send a lot of probes to the moon, and America also joined. And then this was the full history. Till 1977, both Russia and America, they competed with each other in sending probes to the moon, sending man to the moon. And after that, there was a gap between 1990. Subsequently, all countries, they started sending once again. India also joined with Chandrayaan 1, and it's continuing now. Okay. So in 1961, John F. Kennedy, there was a small story. After the first dog which was sent by Russians is called Laika. But the second dog which went to, do you know the name? Its name was Stelka. But every time they send only female dogs to the moon because they have more resistance. Okay, you are all stronger, right? Naturally. So the Stelka dog came alive and it gave 2 puppies. So one of the puppies was gifted to President Kennedy. So this is a daughter of a dog which went to space and came back. Stelka was the name of the dog. Okay. So subsequently they also took it up. So we also wanted to get into the challenge. And then he told this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before the decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth. This he proclaimed in 1961. Subsequently, they started achieving it. But once again, simply you cannot go, right? Like what we do in our Gaganyaan program, slowly they progress. They had 3 different programs called Mercury, Gemini and Apollo. Once again, different viewpoints were taken it. Once again, science, engineering, technology, human physiology, philosophy and sociology, every aspect was taken care. And they went like a Project Mercury. In fact, it's called Mercury 7. You can Google and find out more about Mercury 7. And then I'm not getting into the details. Okay, only a single astronaut can go and come back. Alan Shepard was the man who went first. The second project was Project Gemini. It was based on a Titan rocket where the 2 astronauts could go. and the first time they walked on the space. Okay, then they have a rendezvous with Agena modules with other Gemini capsules. It's not rendezvous. We should pronounce as rendezvous. Yes. So then came the Apollo project, literally sending man to the moon, and this is a list. Okay, Apollo 8 was the first lunar orbit. Once again, the orbit also had the shape of 8 only. Okay, they didn't literally land on the moon. They just went around the moon like this and took a shape of 8 and came back to the planet Earth. Apollo 11 actually landed, and Apollo 14 gave the first color images. Then the last 3 missions they had lunar rovers, and then this was the thing, and you have some interesting information on this also. I already told you about this. They had a shape of 8. They went behind the moon and came back safely. That was the first thing. They could see they were the first men to see the rear side of moon. Then came the Apollo 11. I'll dwell on this particular for some time. And you have the Columbia, the CSM, means service module, and the LM is the Eagle module, which literally landed on the moon on July 20th, 1969, and the first lunar landing. A lot of stories are there. And this was the first word that uttered from there, Houston, tranquility base here. The Eagle has landed. That was the message sent from the Eagle to the Houston. Houston is a place where the manned spacecraft center, that was the name given to their first HSFC. Like our human spaceflight center, they had a center called manned spacecraft center. Subsequently, it was called Lyndon Johnson Space Center. Now only Johnson Space Center. And landed on the Sea of Tranquility. Then the launch, it was a huge rocket called Saturn V. And then these were the 3 gentlemen. Neil Armstrong, you all know. First Man is a book on his life. Then Edwin Aldrin and Michael Collins was the commander who was going around the moon. When these 2 men played on the moon, he was continuously orbiting around the moon to bring them back safely to Earth. And these are the dates when it happened. Okay, they launched on July 16th, 8:32 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, not Indian time. Once again, lunar landing happened at 3:17 p.m. Okay, correspondingly, when you convert it to Indian time, it will be the next day morning. Okay, it will be 21st for us. So once again, the next day they started from moon and splashed down at the Pacific Ocean on July 24th. And then this is the Eagle which landed, and Adrian coming out of the lander, and they were deploying the US flag on the moon. It was literally taken in a folded stick. Okay, so then they made it like an inverted L, and the flag was there. And they had one extravehicular activity, and they put this particular inscription there. Here, men from planet Earth first set foot on the moon, July 16 AD. We came in peace for all mankind, and they bought around 20 kg of material gathered from there. And this is the message they gave, and there's a small piece of lunar rock from that Apollo mission. They came here and they met President Nixon. They were in quarantine for some time, and then only they were let to mingle with the public and their family. And then there was a huge celebration was there on their return. And then that's one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. This image is very, very famous image, you might have seen. And coming to Apollo 12, I'll just go through it. Okay, the Apollo 12 literally Yankee, Clipper and Intrepid, and on November month in the same year, then the Apollo 12 is also, they set up these particular experiments. This is the specialty here. It's called Apollo Lunar Surface Experiments Package. A set of experiments. You can see this many experiments. These many objects have been deposited there. And this particular number 8, the lunar laser ranging retroreflector, this particular object, it is still lying on the moon. And now and then Indian astronomers, they send a laser beam onto the moon, and based on the data only, now we are telling that every year moon is receding away by 3.8 centimeters per year. Once again, almost all these missions, they also had their own setting up of experiments there. And this Apollo 13 also, there was a mission. It was not normally talked about. And what happened? One of the oxygen tanks in the service module, it failed. It started leaking after it exploded literally. So because of that, what they did, they didn't try for landing onto the moon. They just came back, and it was also assumed or declared as a successful failure because they could save the astronauts back safely. Then Apollo 14, it landed on Fromoro, a place called Fromoro. They were there in the moon for, it was for a total of 9 days. And the first time they used a hand cart. This is the hand cart they used. And the next mission they will be having a lunar roving vehicle called. And one speciality here is Alan Shepard played golf on moon, which is called either space golf or lunar golf, whichever way. Note this particular point. You any quiz programs, you will get this question. Then Apollo 15 also had a similar thing. They went and came back safely, and they had they took this lunar roving vehicle. It's very famous for this. And then this is the lunar roving vehicle used by astronauts. All the last three missions, they had this lunar roving vehicle there. And then first time they landed in a highland area. Rest of the time they were landing on mares only, on the sea, so-called seas only they were landing. This particular mission was on a highland area, and then Apollo 17 was the last mission, and Eugene Cernan was the first scientist astronaut. Rest of them were only either pilots or engineers. He was the first scientist astronaut to land on the moon. Once again, he was the last man. Cernan was the last man. That means he only entered the what is going to come back to the moon in the last man to get into the lunar module to come back. Okay, these are the typical landing sites where and all they have. All blue color things are US. The green, whatever I have shown there, no? These are all unmanned US landers which were sent earlier, and you can see all these things. And this one is Shanghai 3 is China. Shanghai 4 was on the reverse side. Okay, typically the voyage used to be like this. They start from here, go around and reach there. By the time moon moves this much in its orbit, from there once again they come back and then they land in the Pacific Ocean. And that's the end of Apollo era. Okay, and subsequently the answer for Russia, they designed a huge rocket called N1. In fact, parallelly they had two N1 vehicles ready. Suppose in case one is failing, the other one also readily available on the launch pad, but somehow it failed both times and they dropped the system. And coming to our Indian missions to the moon, we named it Chandrayaan, and we had the first Chandrayaan 1 in 2008, Chandrayaan 2 in 2019, probably Chandrayaan 3 will be in 23, hope, and it's also getting ready. And we have a lot of questions to be answered. You all might have seen this image many number of times, because being from VSSC Central School, you might have seen this. And then this is how we reached the moon, slowly increasing the apogee rise by every orbit. Its apogee was raised, and finally it entered into the moon's gravity, and we reached the moon in 17.5 days. So this is the MIP which crash landed on the moon in the Shackleton crater. And then some of the interesting results, only few results I am showing here. One is there are some buried tube-like structures, or something like a cave, it's there. Suppose if we go to moon, there are places where we can safely live in the moon. That is there. Once again, our Chandrayaan 1 identified water in the moon. This is the Chandrayaan 2, you all know. And then Chandrayaan 2 actually could not land, the lander could not be safe, soft landing could not be done safely, but still it has produced a lot of interesting results. Okay, they have identified chromium and manganese on the lunar surface, and this is a typical spectrum of different chemicals. Probably you will be studying in your chemistry. All these elements are already available on the on our moon. Chandrayaan 3 also is getting ready with almost similar scientific objectives. Okay, this is one lunar retroreflector, similar to what they did. No, we are also going to carry one lunar retroreflector in our Chandrayaan 3, and of course, lot of scientific objectives, technological objectives are there in our program. And why do scientists find moon to be very, very interesting is it's a airless body and literally no chemical weathering, meaning that whenever Earth was formed, our moon also formed together with it, or maybe at a later time, but all these things are preserved properly, and literally by studying it, we will know how we came to being. That is one particular thing, and it is not having any magnetic field, and the direct interaction of lunar surface with solar wind. So the sun is producing a wind called solar wind, which is charged particles, which creates aurora borealis and aurora Australis in the north and south poles, and these many interesting things are there. That's why scientists are going to moon. Some of the questions: how does the magma ocean work there? What was the early thermal evolution of the moon? How it happened? So are the Apollo measurements representative of the entire moon or only small areas? What role did early volcanism play on the evolution of moon? What is the composition and structure of lunar mantle? Was the moon really created from a giant impact? I already told, it's only a hypothesis. Once again, that we need to, so I already told you that one particular crater was named after Vikram Sarabhai, and it is there on the far side of the moon. And so with a humble gratitude to person because of whom we are all here. Okay, and I closed my thing. And for school kids, I have no special talents. I am only passionately curious by Albert Einstein. So be curious passionately. Okay, with that simple advice or quote from Sir Albert Einstein, I end my talk. Thank you.